You're setting goals the wrong way, and that's why they're not working. Let me tell you why. First things first, let's get comfy. If you're new here, my name is Madison. I am a health coach. I've been in the industry for over 10 years. There's a million people online telling me how to crush my goals, how to lose weight, how to do X, Y, Z. You're skeptical. Why should you trust me? I get it. If you're not skeptical, you should be. I'm gonna start with that. You should be skeptical of everyone and everything that you see online because the internet, we all know, is a wild place. Especially these days. Anybody else miss the 90s where we had like MSN Messenger? You could chit chat, but only on the computer, and then not if someone called your phone. You know, when someone used to call the house phone, your parents would tell you have to get off the internet because you couldn't be on the house phone. Yes, we didn't have cell phones back in that day. We had house phones, and you couldn't use your computer and your house phone at the same time. My name is Madison. I'm a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. I have been working in the health and wellness industry for over 10 years now. Helping people is a huge passion of mine. I work towards debunking all of the trash that you hear online. I am not here to sell you anything. I am just here to help make it easier for you. So with that being said, let's start with goals. I do health coach, but I'm not here to sell you anything because at the end of the day, you will make changes when you are ready to. Not when I tell you you should or try and sell you something, because if you do something just because you got sold it, you're not gonna follow through with it. When it comes to goals, a really common goal that a lot of people will start with is I want to lose X amount of pounds. So let's say you start with, I want to lose 10 pounds. And if you're looking at me going, you've never struggled with gaining weight, I will leave some before and afters over here. I used to be warm. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I am a nice person and we use more gentle terms when I talk about former versions of myself that were working towards where we are today. I was about 50 pounds warmer over there. Why do I say warmer? Because I had to wear less jackets. I have to wear way more jackets now because I don't have built-in insulation. Much healthier. It's better for my organs to be less insulated. But hey, back then, Canada didn't feel too cold. Look at me now, I'm in Utah because it's February. I share these to show that I have struggled with weight loss and I have lost weight myself because I know how tough that can be. But I don't share these to say or to show that I am less valuable by any means in either photo. What a lot of people forget is that the body that you're living in today and your goal body are the exact same body. So the person that I was and the body that I was in when I was 50 pounds heavier is the exact same body that I'm in today, and you cannot hate yourself into your goals. Having goals is important, but loving yourself along the way is equally important. Oftentimes people think setting a weight loss goal is a great way to start. And it's not that setting a weight loss goal isn't a great way to start. It can be a good way to start. But when we're looking at goals, it's really important that we factor in our dedication and our consistency. So we want to make sure that we're setting sustainable goals and goals that drive us forward. So if we're setting a goal of, I want to lose 10 pounds, what happens in 10 pounds? And this is really common for people when it comes to weight loss. They'll over-restrict their calories, they'll over-exercise, and they'll lose 10 pounds. They will do what I like to call a suffer sprint. So for an 8-week challenge or a 6-week challenge or some really arbitrary number, they will just drive themselves into the dirt. We're doing extreme things, detox teas, diet pills, crazy. We're doing crazy things and we lose the 10 pounds. Here is the downfall of these goals. We get on the scale and we lost the weight. Now we stop doing the crazy things because of course the crazy things were not sustainable and not maintainable. And two things happen here. One, the day that you step on the scale, nothing changes. Your life doesn't change. You don't feel different. That's the worst part, is you have the win for the moment that you're standing on the scale, but you get off and your day hasn't changed. And this is for a couple different reasons. When we're setting goals that are strictly just weight-based, we're not valuing our body on anything. So what happens for a lot of people is they will hate their body to that lower weight. So they're pushing as hard as they can to lose that weight, but they're hating themselves at the same time. They're restricting their calories. They're speaking really negatively to themselves. They're over-exercising and being unkind to themselves. When their clothes don't fit, they're being mean to themselves. We're not celebrating with any positive momentum. We're pushing ourselves by putting ourselves down. And when we continuously put ourselves down, when we reach that goal, we don't feel good. We go, oh, great, I got there. We get off, we don't feel better in our bodies. We don't feel better in our clothes. We don't even think we look great. Nothing changes. But we reached our goal, so we stop with our absolutely extreme routines because they're not sustainable or maintainable, and then we gain the weight back. Sure, you're wondering what's a better way to set goals? Well, working towards losing weight is not an inherently bad goal, but it has to be tied to something else. Any goal that we're working towards, we want to make sure is measurable, because if we can't measure it, we can't manage it, where weight can be helpful with that. But we also need to have a driving impact behind it. So we need to have a purpose behind our goal. I want to lose X amount of pounds to accomplish X. And it's really important to be able to do those things. And it's really important that those things are impact driven and really resonate with you personally. Because when it comes to our goals, they're so individual about the things that we want in our life and what personally fuels us. So for myself, I love being able to do things outdoors. I love outdoor adventure. I love hiking. I love climbing. I love mountain biking. I never want my health to impact my happiness. So a great example of this is I went on a hike the other day, and there was, I want to say, about 8 different sections where you had to lower yourself down on a rope, and you weren't clipped into a harness or anything like that. So you had to have the physical strength to hold your body weight up. And then coming back out of the canyon, you had to be able to pull your body weight up on this rope. So I had to be able to lift my body weight while carrying a pack and also climbing up this rock face, because the risk in not being able to do that was falling and injuring myself. For me, it's really important that I have the strength to fuel the lifestyle that I want, which is where I always encourage people to pick adventure-based goals to go with their strength goals or their weight loss goals. So that could be anything from a hike that you've always wanted to do, a bucket list trip that you've always wanted to do. Maybe it's something like paddleboarding. We see paddleboarding often as, oh, that's not that tough. Paddleboarding, stand-up paddleboarding, is actually a lot more challenging than people realize, and it requires a ton of core strength and a ton of upper body strength to paddle yourself around the lake. Paddleboarding is a great option as a purpose next to a goal, because if you are working towards losing weight, the less weight that you have to paddle around the lake, the easier it will be for you. But you can't do that by just losing weight. You have to also build strength, especially your core strength, to be able to do that. Or something like mountain biking. Mountain biking is also a great one. You have to work on your endurance to pedal uphill. You have to work on your strength to ride downhill. People always think that riding downhill is not a workout, and let me tell you, nothing will challenge your grip strength quite like riding downhill, especially at the beginning, especially when you're new, because you are death gripping your handlebars. It's your arms too. You're just like shaking, holding on for dear life, trying not to panic slam on your brakes, especially your front brake. If you mountain bike, I always remind myself of this, but your right is your rear. If you're gonna slam on a brake, use your right hand, leave your little left hand. That's your front brake. You will go over your bars. As my dad would say, ass over tea kettle, and we don't need to do that. The reason that setting goals like this is so much more effective is because when you set your goal of losing X amount of weight or being able to accomplish either a hike or a paddleboard or something like that, once we get there, we actually get the memory. And that's the biggest piece, because when we're working towards a goal, the 2 seconds that you step on a scale isn't gonna be an impactful moment for you. It's just gonna be another morning that you stepped on the scale. Whereas when we're working towards a strength goal that goes with that, an impact-driven goal like hiking or paddling or whatever that is, being able to do those things is gonna be a memory that's ingrained in your mind forever. You're gonna always be able to look back on that or see photos of that and go, oh my gosh, I remember doing that. I lost 20 pounds and my reward and my goal in that was going paddling and having the strength to be able to do it. I always like doing these things as celebratory kind of attachment. So when we're working towards a goal, maybe it's losing X amount of pounds or building strength, something like that. If we lose 5 pounds, then we go on a hike or we go on some sort of adventure that was attached to that. It could be 5 or 10 or 20, whatever that is, but we keep building on them. And those adventure pieces or those impact-driven goal pieces are gonna be what fuels you to make sustainable changes moving forward, because it doesn't end. It kind of scratches that itch that makes you hungry for more. Whereas when we're working towards just weight loss, eventually there's no more weight to lose. And what do you do from there? Whereas when we're working towards strength goals or impact-driven goals, there's always more for us to do, and we always have the opportunity to keep building on what we've already done. A couple other pieces that I really like to add in when it comes to goal setting is to make sure that you attach a timeline to it. Give yourself grace in that, but make sure you attach a timeline to it and break things down into pieces. So especially when we're working towards big goals, so say you're working towards something like losing 100 pounds. If we set the goal of losing 100 pounds and we have that much weight to lose, it's gonna take us a while to get there. Sustainable weight loss is around ½ pound to a pound a week. Friendly tip, losing 1 pound of fat is the equivalent of 3,500 calories. That is actually a ton of extra energy to burn. It's really important that we don't try and speed that up faster than what is sustainable, because if we lose it quickly, we typically will regain it quickly. And we want to make sure that this is sustainable, whatever you're working towards. But anyways, random tangent there. If we're working towards losing 100 pounds, it's a lot easier and more sustainable for us to actually break that down into 10-pound pieces. And every time we get to 10 pounds, we celebrate that and celebrate our success in that by doing something. And it could be exactly kind of what I spoke about before, those impact-driven goals that help fuel the excitement in our journey. But it could be something like doing something nice for yourself. And I tell a lot of my female clients this, it could be something as small as just grabbing yourself flowers, and for guys, it could be treating yourself to maybe a new gym outfit or maybe a new set of, it could be anything, I don't know, golf balls, a golf club. I don't do sports, organized sports, so I never know, but something in there, maybe a gear related thing. It's got to resonate with you. It needs to be something that excites you, but we need to attach something to those to keep us motivated and excited, to keep kind of pushing that goalpost and moving it further and further along with us. The other piece that I watch people struggling with this is as they're working towards their goals, that goalpost keeps moving farther and farther away. Very important, because that means that we're pushing ourselves. But no matter what you're working towards, there's always going to be a season that's a little bit more challenging. And in those seasons that are a bit more challenging, it's really important that we can actually look back and acknowledge how far we've come. The only way that we can do that is if we've actually acknowledged our wins along the way. So if you're in a tough season and maybe you're in a 10-pound piece that's harder for you to lose, it's not going to feel like you can do it when you're going, I'm trying to lose 100 pounds and I'm stuck at 35 and I can't get there. But if you're trying to lose 100 pounds and you've broken it down into 10-pound pieces and you're 5 pounds into that fourth 10-pound chunk, you'll be able to look back and go, but I've already done this 3 times before successfully. I lost 10 pounds 3 times successfully. And I know because of those 3 new gym t-shirts that I have in my closet, or I know because of all the flowers that I've had on my counter for the last couple months. When we actually acknowledge our wins and acknowledge how hard we're working and the work that we're putting in, it helps fuel us to keep going forward and it helps push us moving forward. But we can't really backdate our wins. We have to have done it in the process, because it needs to be something that when we're in those tough seasons, we can actually remind ourselves of what we're capable of. So often when it comes to working towards your goals, it's not whether you have the grit, the determination, the capabilities. You are wildly more capable than you realize. It's just reminding ourselves what we're capable of to keep us focused on the goal without getting discouraged and defeated in the process. I hope that this was helpful when it comes to goal setting. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to drop them down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.